1 minute. Okay. Okay. Uh, Mrs. Sushma, as chairperson, will take over from me. Over to you, Mrs. Sushma.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasant day. May I request our Senior Vice President, Ms. Uma Reddy, to welcome the guests with the planter box. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ram sir. Thank you. A warm welcome to all of you once again. Thank you, panelists, for being here today. As we talk about harnessing technology to innovate, for more so in the MSME, what impact it has for the MSME. This session is especially relevant to the MSME looking to compete in a world where digital adoption is not a choice but a necessity. Whether it's using AI to enhance operations, leveraging government support for digitization, or safeguarding systems through effective cybersecurity. Today's discussion will unpack how MSMEs can make the digital leap effectively. But going digital is just not about investing in technology, it's about building the mindset, the resilience, and the right partnerships to drive long-term transformation. With this brief introduction, I would like to call the panelists to give an opening remark, and then we'll have the moderated questions, and we'll throw the floor open for the audience for the Q&A session. Can I have the console? Can I have the slide of? Can I have the slides, please? Introduction slides. Can I have Charu on the stage, please? Hello? Yeah. Can I have the slide, please? Okay. While the slide is taking place, let me just introduce Dr. Sanjay Tyagi. He is the director at Software Technology Parks of India. Dr. Tyagi is the founder members of STPI. He has joined STPI in 1995 and has spearheaded STPI at footprint in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities as well. He is currently the director under the jurisdiction of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Additionally, with over 30 years of experience in implementing various Government of India schemes such as STPs, SEZs, IBPS and other. economy. The statistics of 83% of MSME contributing to only 30% of export. So there is a lot of scope for the MSMEs in this space. Growth is moving from being business driven to innovation driven. So we have a lot of insights from this presentation. Thank you very much, sir. Moving on to the next panelist, Dr. Shubhamangala Sunil, CISO. She's a highly experienced cybersecurity expert with over 2 decades of experience advising organizations and government agencies globally, including the Supreme Court of India and the Indian Navy. She is a certified anti-terrorism specialist, cyber lawyer, and an auditor, contributing to national cyber security standards as a member of the National Cyber Safety and Security Standards Technical Committee. An internationally recognized speaker, she develops cyber security curricula for institutions like the National Law School of India University. Her expertise spans cybercrime investigations, digital forensics, IoT, blockchain, AI security, etc., etc. She holds numerous certifications and degrees, including MTech in computer science and a PG in cyber law. She has holds several global ambassador and director roles and has trained over 5,000 professionals. What a wonderful panelists we have today. Over to you, ma'am. Kindly brief the audience on how MSME and cybersecurity and what's the way forward. Can we have the slides of ma'am, please?
Thank you, Sushima. A very good morning to all. The event running in Karnataka, especially in Bangalore, I take that lenience. Elrigo namaskara. Namaskara. Nanoblu Kannadati adra ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಇದೆ. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. Now let me continue with the time given to me to talk about technology, especially harnessing the technology to innovate. What are the things we plan? What are the things we think about technology? I'm talking to you today. People from the team who organized, they invited me today. I got introduced to a lot of dignitaries who are sitting on the stage. All are happening because there is technology involved. I'm happy to have the panelists on the dais. Thank you so much for joining me here. So when we are talking about the technology, today we are in a world where I feel probably there are most people who might not have heart, but they don't have their life without their phone. Right? Because you might have seen about a lady who is running an artificial heart and she is alive for past 2 decades. Right? So that means people are alive without heart but not without a technology. That means how much we are depending on this. Because today when I talk about the technology, we are so much dependent. Is there anybody who uses your clock or alarm, especially your table piece? I don't think so. Probably most of you, the youngsters, might not even remember about that because that much we are dependent on that technology, especially in today's world. So when we are talking about this, how is that can be used for the innovation? Do we need to depend on that? Isn't our brain enough for the innovation? Okay, that's a question. Let's see. So when we talk about the role of technology, I usually say, yes, of course, it's a tool, it's a catalyst. That's all. Because rest is me, my time. What it matters, usually the change and the competition. So I know that most of you might travel today around the globe and you have saying that coming back to India, you say, oh, you know what, last week I was in US and the traffic rules followed there is amazing. But in Bangalore, I hate it. Because people, whatever they are using there, it's not being used here. They are grown. what a comparison. We are competing in the globe, and we are the people who are going ahead and involving the technology to innovate the new things. Are we growing as Indians? Yes, of course. We are better than anyone today? Yes, of course. Because we are seeing a lot of technologies used in India in a wrong way than a right way. That is the difference, which like the events as the MSME and the FICCI team are arranging to get that on a right track, saying that yes, we do have a technology, we do have the brains, why don't we combine both of this and have the better result out of it. So when we see the previous days or the down the line, we see that pre-digital innovation, we had manual tools and very slow process. Yes, of course, we hate it because is there anybody who remember having the internet where it used to dial and dial and dial and finally we used to get some kbs of speed? Hardly. And today we are running 5G. Shortly we are going to shift to 6G. Raise of this technology, yes, of course, computers and internet. I don't think so is there anybody alive without the internet access today. You want it or not, you are being connected because that's how the life is going on. So current trends, especially when we are talking about this artificial intelligence, I think people have forgotten that they have the intelligence, but they are depending on the artificial intelligence. Whatever you talk about, the things today, whatever you want to purchase, say that tomorrow you are going to purchase a TV, the banda will tell you, sir, do you know this TV, whatever I am selling you, it's a smart TV and it has a AI in it. Arey yaar, ye sirf TV hai. Yes, but it has an artificial intelligence. Then what about my intelligence? What a question. But we never ask those questions to ourselves. So, when we talk about the technology-driven innovation, yes, of course, AI. I want to automate everything. The moment I start a work, I want it to be automatically taken with the next step saying that, okay, I'm telling you to do ABC, from C you have to carry on till Z because you are automated and you have to understand those things. Because that is the reason today the people like us, including me, who use the Facebook, I'll be getting one of my college friend whom I had met some 20 years before saying that, hey, do you know Shekhar? He's your college friend. How is it doing? Artificial intelligence. Okay, yes, of course. But at the same time, whenever it is doing there, as I come from the cybersecurity space, I'm also scared that how much of data it is taking. Quickly to talk about the technology and the cyberspace, I'll tell you an example. There was a call to a pizza house and the person says that, madam, I want to order medium pizza. The lady says, sir, okay, it is 200 bucks. How do you want to make the payment? He says, by credit card. She says, sir, your credit card has been stopped working since last week. He was like, oh, okay. Okay, you add some extra cheese. I'll go ahead and pay it by cash at the COD. And she says, sir, you're having heart problem because I know that you were admitted just last month. He said, okay. Then she will ask, how are you going to make the payment? He'll say, I'll come by my vehicle. She will say, your car has been taken out. He will say, okay, I'll come by two-wheeler. He'll say, no, you don't have your two-wheeler. That means the information shared with somebody else is more compared to our own people now. Because whatever the technology we are using, we are sharing the data. Technology is our own, but the data shared is with somebody else who is sitting in some corner, but we have to concentrate together. That's the reason I said, adding one more point saying that whenever we are developing, innovating the things, let us also have in mind saying that safety and security matters a lot because we have to be secure, including securing our nation. So IoT, blockchain, cloud, I'm very sure it takes a lot of time. With a given time, let me tell you, IoT, yes, of course, whatever I'm wearing today, whatever you are operating on the things, your car, your other devices today, everything is having the IoTs, Internet of Things, and especially if you are talking about the health sector, including the pacemaker is IoT today. That means we have grown well to say the world that even the Indians know how to use the technology. So cloud computing, yes, of course. I don't want to carry my hard disk behind my back saying that yes, I have my data. No, I want to have it on cloud and use it anywhere whenever I need it.
So when we are talking about the real world innovations, you have seen the remote diagnostics in healthcare, financials, agriculture, education, real time, because everywhere today, including the food industry, including the entertainment, everybody has the technology involved, saying that, because for all the ladies sitting here, probably down the lane, before 20 years, we were waiting for 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock serial show, but today we are having our own apps. We'll watch it whenever we want. So technology is moving. How to harness technology to innovate? How do we do that? Are we having any steps or the process or a written framework saying that yes, this is what you need to follow? Probably yes, we can set a framework for ourselves. Staying informed, we need to understand what is that new technology every other country is following, what is a new trend, because I'm very sure today whoever is there in the Insta, you know what is the real and the new trend, because you're following that. So we should be knowing about the technology and the engineering. Encourage experimentation. Please do. If somebody is having some idea or thoughts and he wants to experiment something, I think India is the first place where we will be having the negative questions first, saying that, are you sure this is going to work? I don't think so. Don't waste your time. So let us stop doing that. Use data smartly. Just now I gave you an example. We sharing the data every corner and complaining, saying that, you know, Shubha, morning somebody called me and he was asking that he is ready to give the credit card, insurance, blah, blah, blah. There was a digital arrest. There was somebody else who is having my data and I know that he has taken a loan in my name, yaar. It is 80 lakhs. How did he do? Where did he get my data? Surprising, because data is not being used smartly. Collaborate. Get the collaboration with the teams. As I said, I don't have much of time, so I'm just running through it. Building an innovation, I'll just keep it aside because I just want to add 1 minute information about being an Indian, a pride Indian, that hope everybody remembers Operation Sindoor. Do you know how much we had the innovation and technology together? Quickly to talk about it. We didn't use GPS, global positioning system, because our data would have been shared with the other country who would have tapped us before our attack. We used Innovate, which is developed by India, innovation and technology. Second thing, we used Samyukta, one of the best warfare developed by Indians, which can go ahead and see what are the signals, who are trying to go ahead and attack us through the air, and it can block the signal, jam the signal. One of the innovation, the mobile ground-based device which is running, and we are having 145 devices, innovation and technology, and especially dedication and love towards the country. So technology is just a tool, innovation is a mindset. Innovate not just for profit but for impact. Leaving that to you all, please do innovate where when the question rises saying that should I make money or should I help the nation, make it both together. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for giving us insights on rise of technology, role of technology, AI, and also bringing us the distinction between innovation vis-a-vis tech-driven innovation vis-a-vis the real-world innovation, and also your final punchline that tech is just a tool, innovation is a mindset. Thank you very much, ma'am. Moving on to our next esteemed panelist, we have with us Mr. T.R. Anand, Chair of Matrix Forum. Mr. Anand has been actively involved in mentoring, advising, and seed investing since 2009. He is an electronics engineer from UECE and an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad. He serves as a board member of Tyagi, Bangalore. He's been serving from 2007 to 2015 and currently holds the position of Chair, Matrix Forum, which is focused on technology advancement in India. He's a trustee at Swada Foundation, dedicated to education, enhancement, and employment. He holds the honorary advisory roles at Atria University and Grameen Foundation. Is a member of several steering committees for the Government of Karnataka initiatives and the search committee for the director of IIIT Bhagalpur. Over to you, sir, to brief the session.
Thank you. Ellarigu namaskara. I thank the organizers for this opportunity given to share my thoughts on innovation and how MSMEs can benefit in this area. I'll be very focused in terms of the points to be addressed. You've already heard from the STPI director on the large picture in India, and you've also heard from the immediate speaker before me about the landscape of technology. So I probably will not cover any of that. Just one slide for those who are not familiar with the Indus Entrepreneurs TIE. TIE is a global organization encouraging entrepreneurship. Every one of you here in the MSME sector is an entrepreneur, okay? So in that sense, I speak to every one of you and I speak on behalf of every one of you. TIE has been around in Bangalore for more than 25 years. You've got the numbers here. We are a global organization. We are over 3,000 charter members. Each one of us is committed to giving back and fostering entrepreneurship, which is about mentoring, industry connects, so on. So here we are here to help you. It's a completely not-for-profit organization with the sole focus in terms of fostering technology and innovation. And we conduct a whole lot of events. Our immediate next event is the Matrix Forum's 10th annual summit, which is happening on July 1st and 2nd at the Nimhans Convention Center, where we will have a full showcase of what next in terms of taking Bangalore into the top 3 innovation hubs in the world. Okay, with that focus on TIE and Bangalore, and you're free to visit the site and look at, because we want to represent not just startups in the software industry, which is where traditionally it started, not just startups in the hardware industry. I think it covers all industries today with a lot of focus on a variety of areas. Especially this conference and this exhibition is focused on manufacturing and engineering. So I'll try to focus a little bit on that and address specific areas which have been given to me. Next slide, please. Hello. So harnessing, thank you. Thank you. So the focus of this session was harnessing technology to innovate, and there are 3 aspects which I thought I would address, and that was given to me by the organizers. First is digital transformation. How do you do this in a smart way? That's the first one. I'll have one slide on that. The second one is on MSME as innovation hubs, and how can you start to progress on this innovation journey from wherever your business is today, second one. And the third one is how do you encourage initiatives in digitalization or digital transformation. Okay, so let me focus 2 minutes on each one of these areas. It's going to be very, very specific because all the generalities have already been covered. Next slide, please. Okay. Successful digital transformation. So you heard about all the technologies that are there. So how do you incorporate all these technologies into your business is the focus area today. You have already incorporated all these technologies into your lifestyle with your mobiles and your Apple wristwatches and so on and so forth. But how do you incorporate state-of-the-art digital transformation? And most of you are using it in some way or the other, but in terms of your businesses, if you want to do, this stands on 3 legs today. First one is technology, second is the processes that you use, and the third is the people and culture. All three have to be successful and done right in order for any digital transformation to succeed, whether it's a large enterprise or whether it's an MSME today. Let's take the first one, technology that we have, and we have a lot of technologies that are available, tools and techniques. In fact, you're going to be approached with a whole lot of tools and techniques. The key here is to be able to select those tools that are going to value add to your product or service. So if you are in the making products, whether it is for India or for the world, what tools and techniques do you want to choose in order to achieve this transformation? And which are those that are going to enable you in the entire value chain, whether it is in ideation, where you can use design thinking, whether it is in engineering and bill of materials, where you can start to look at digital catalogs and digital twins and a variety of other technologies that are there that are more appropriate to you, or whether it is in manufacturing, where there are a whole lot of technologies including computer vision, inspection, AR, VR, and so on and so forth. So choose the right ones that will add value to your product and to your processes. The second one is processes, and I'm not going to cover everything here because it's going to take a long time and I will overrun my time that we have here today. But I think quality and how do you improve this quality within the process. You know, earlier we had quality which was statistical, batch oriented, you check and then improve your process. But today we have in-process quality with computer vision, and you can actually do quality which is based upon the data of your immediate previous batch, which you can do using AI, artificial intelligence, and this is all agile here today. So you try to incorporate these, and these are all not expensive tools. You should be able to do that, okay? And in order to be able to continue to do this, you need repeatability and you need scalability, because if you are going to manufacture for the world, then you need these areas. But the most important is people. You know, no amount of automation will help you unless you have the people or the culture. You know, we want to increase our manufacturing GDP from 15% to 25% and become another China +1, but that's not going to happen if you don't have the right people and the skills. Skills might be trained, but I think you can't train for attitude. You need attitude and values. Why is it that China is able to do well? Because they have the right values in terms of zero defect and pride in the work that you do, in terms of commitment, and also learning. Learning to learn is the new mantra. That means because technologies change a lot, you have to have a workforce which is empowered to learn and who are able to learn. And to learn, there are a lot of new techniques, you know, including virtual reality. I did see that there's a company here which is exhibiting content on how you can train your technicians and how you can train your people on using virtual reality to simulate the entire process without actually using the tools. And those things are possible. So there are a variety of areas for you in order to excel and tap into the global supply chain. Especially the opportunity is huge in the next 10. You have to transform your business, and that can happen only through digital transformation. How you can do that in, for example, the semiconductor industry, the next speaker, my friend Sanjeev, will speak about it. So let me take the second part, which is MSMEs as innovation hubs. What is innovation? Innovation is really led by curiosity. You know, unless you are curious about something, you cannot innovate. So if you are curious about what else can be done with your product, which is either you're supplying to another OEM or you're supplying to end consumers. Innovation does not happen in research labs. Innovation can happen in your workplace, in your company. And in order to do that, there is a simple mantra, which is API. API stands for Ask, Partner, Innovate. Whom do you ask, you know? When you want to ask and say, what is it that I can do next with my product? Ask your employees. Ask your customer. Here I want to give you a little example. It is not that ideas to innovate come from the top. It can't come from you as the owner or the CEO. Let me give you an example of Amazon. All of you know Amazon, we use it. Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, if he is in a meeting, and this is followed by everybody in the company, the first person who speaks in the meeting is the junior most engineer. Jeff Bezos as the CEO speaks last. The reason for this is, if the CEO speaks first and then the vice president and then the manager, the poor engineer who may have an idea is hesitant to speak. He will not even present the idea to you. So ask your employees, the guys who are closest to the work and closest to the product, you may be able to innovate. Similarly, ask your customers. Customers are the best inputs for innovation. What do you ask your customer? You don't ask the customer, what can I improve in my product? Ask the customer, what is it that he is using the product in his business and where is he value add? That is, understand the value of the customer's customer. If you do that, then you will know what the contribution of your product is. Is it passive? Is it 5%? Is it 10%? How can I increase the value to the customer's customer? And that's where you will get your innovation ideas from. Okay? So ask, partner, innovate is just one mantra. Automation, you've heard of AI, IoT, and a whole lot of stuff that has happened here. I think, let me give an example here. Instead of, the technology is all available there, okay? And within the TI Bangalore and my Matrix Forum, which is the IoT Forum, the AI Forum, the Quantum Forum, it covers the entire range of technologies. So I'll give you an example from one of our companies that are in our fold. If you're making a motor today, and a motor, you've been making excellent motors, it goes into another end product that you have, and the excellence in it is built in, including, for example, what is the maintenance schedule, and when do you do predictive maintenance. You add value to it by adding a couple of sensors on the motor, okay? So that will help you to be able to see the performance of the motor in real time. Once you have the sensor, today there are chips available to do edge computing. So you add edge computing to it, okay? So once you have a sensor, you have edge computing, the edge compute will compute immediately and make corrections in it. You take the edge compute and the next stage is you add AI to it because you take the data from it and continuously look at the data that is arriving within the performance, and that will tell you exactly what needs to be done. Who is you here? It is the end customer who is using this product. So in this way you can incorporate a whole lot of sense, and there are companies, you don't have to do all this yourself. There are partner companies who will give you the technology right from sensors to the edge compute to the AI incorporated system. So partner and go ahead and do this. So I think the ability to be able to go to the next scale depends upon leveraging the ecosystem that you have today. I can keep speaking, but I think I'll take one last slide, which is on how can you have initiatives to encourage digitalization. This is my last slide. Mindset-wise, you have to integrate and incorporate these initiatives into your engineering and manufacturing process. When I say integrate, you integrate not only your ideas, but you also integrate with your partner, okay? You need to be able to get these and make it a part of the process, and how to do that, I'll come to it in a little while from now. The second thing is you need to optimize, because today's world is a very, very competitive world with global supply chains. And you need to be able to optimize using new techniques. Otherwise, your old technology and old techniques will make you obsolete from a current and cost effectiveness and scalable product. So in order to do that, you optimize with the digital, and the digital enables you to be able to do that. Everything from digital catalogs to supplier management to digital documentation and so on and so forth, procurement. So the whole process can be improved, and you can also save money in the whole process in that sense, okay? Third is multi-skilling. Actually today, knowing the domain is one thing, but incorporating technology and especially digital technologies into every individual who is a part of yours, because most MSMEs are working lean, right? You don't have the luxury of a lot of people. But in order to multi-skill the people and get these IT or technology skills, IT is not keyboard and coding. It's incorporating all these variety of technologies into your talent and the workforce. Lastly, how do you do this? The STPI director spoke about a lot of the government initiatives. Government of India initiatives, Government of Karnataka initiatives. The next session here is going to be on skilling, so I won't speak on skilling. A lot of these can be done leverage all these forums that are there And there are industry forums. TI and I mentioned is one of them, and FKCCI, and a variety of programs are there. Leverage the maximum number of these in order to be able to digitalize. Okay. And there are immense opportunities. Tapping into the ecosystem is probably the best thing that you can do, and encourage every one of the team members that you have in order to be able to do so. So with that, I'll close. I hope I was able to seed a few ideas in you. I'm happy to answer questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us a brief on what TI does and also how an organization can move into transformation with three key elements: tech, processes, and people. Thank you very much for those insights, and not to forget the API part of it. Thank you very much, sir. Moving on to the next panelist, we have with us Mr. Sanjeev Keskar. He has a master's degree in management science in marketing and a bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering and technology from Pune University. With 35 years of experience in the corporate world, 29 has been in this semiconductor industry. Mr. Keskar incorporated Arvind Consultancy, an advisory firm in the field of developing high value added ecosystem for semiconductor and electronics industry. Prior to this, Mr. Keskar was Managing Director India at Arrow Electronics, a leading electronic component global distribution company. He is a chief mentor of STPI IoT Open Lab at Electronic City. He is also executive director at Epic Foundation. Over to you, Mr. Keskar.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to focus mainly on electronics and semiconductor industry and opportunities for MSME industry, and primarily technology to innovate, because there is so much innovation happens in electronics industry that every 2 to 3 years we start seeing completely new revolution of technology into electronics domain. So always MSMEs have to really think of what is the next generation platform, what is the next generation technology they should focus. So I'm going to cover 4 topics mainly: about the growth trends in semiconductor and electronics, about the policies of Government of India to support this particular sector, and then the top focus for MSME industry into electronics domain. Finally, need for harnessing the innovation and technology. This is a latest report by IESA, India Electronics and Semiconductor Association, and as per this report, Indian electronics industry will be $400 billion by 2030. So India, which used to contribute last year 5% of the global market, by 2030 global market will be $4 trillion and India will be 10% of the global market. So India is one of the fastest growing region as far as electronics consumption is concerned, because of our 1.42 billion population, and everyone is buying smartphone, laptop, tablets, and lot of infrastructure projects, smart city projects government is doing. So electronics is one of the fastest sector in India. Semiconductor contributes almost 25% of electronics. So by 2030, our semiconductor demand is going to be $100 billion. I will talk about the government policies. First 2 policies are for very large industries, so I will not touch base. Wafer fab policy, where Tata has announced their wafer fab. The second policy is about display fab. But the third policy under ISM, India Semiconductor Mission, is about compound semiconductor. In compound semiconductor, you have sensors, discrete semiconductor like transistor, diodes, MOSFET, or any RF component. And you know, this is an area where investments are not like $1 billion or $4 billion. This is an area where you can even set up a packaging unit for transistor, diodes and MOSFET even at 50 crore rupees. And under Government of India scheme, you get 70% incentive, 50% from central government, 20% from state government. So this is one area where MSMEs can take advantage of packaging of discrete semiconductor or setting up some sensor manufacturing or some sort of discrete manufacturing. That is the first policy MSME can leverage when it comes to components. Just last month, Government of India has announced electronic component manufacturing scheme. That is for passive component like capacitors, resistor, inductor, transformer, relays, as well as electromechanical components. And again, this is a very interesting scheme where Government of India is giving production link incentive. Once you go into production, you get around 8% PLI, production link incentive, under this particular program. So this is also another interesting program for bare PCB, passive component and electromechanicals, and that you can leverage. So these are the two schemes particularly for component industry. Now let's talk about what are the focus for MSME industry. I already talked about component manufacturing. The second important thing is electronics manufacturing services. This industry is going to grow to almost $80 billion in next 5 years. And you know, there is a room to play for MSME into EMS. You can set up one SMT line even with a budget of around 10 crore rupees, and you will get a state government support for setting up that particular line. And there is so much business because of two reasons. Firstly, government is supporting PLI for all electronics manufacturing like mobile phones, telecommunication, automotive electronics, industrial electronics. So the manufacturing of electronic is growing. Second important thing government has done is people used to import SKD kit, complete assembled PCBA from China or Taiwan, and they used to do only screwdriver assembly in India. But last year, government has added 15% duty, import duty on assembled PCBA, because of which people who used to import PCB, now they are importing kits and doing assembly in India. So EMS is going to grow exponentially, and it is not really a play only for the large companies like Dixon or VVDN or Amber Group or Centum or Cyient. Even single line EMS companies are doing extremely well today. They are growing their turnover from 20 crore to 50 crore to 100 crore. So this is one area you should look for. Again, passive component manufacturing, capacitors, resistors, inductors, or any type of passive component, connectors, cables, okay, there is a huge opportunity, because you know, when market is going to be $400 billion, passive components contribute 15%, 1.5. So our passive requirement is going to be $60 billion, and today we are importing more than 90% of these components. So it's a huge opportunity of almost $50 billion over next 6 years. And then the last thing is about the electronic product innovation. As I mentioned that everything is becoming smart, everything is becoming connected. All controls are today IoT control or AI based control. And again, for MSME, there is a brilliant opportunity to do automation and industrial control as well as IoT controls and make the devices smart. So electronic product innovation and product manufacturing again is a very large opportunity for MSME. So let's talk about technology and innovation. We have seen industry 1.0 right from steam engine up to the computerization industry 3.0. But now industry 4.0 revolution is happening, where you are seeing robotics coming in, IoT is coming up, AI, ML based systems are coming up. So it's again a very large opportunity in industry 4.0 revolution. Next gen technologies, like you have, we talk about IoT, we talk about Wi-Fi technology, Bluetooth technology, Zigbee technology, GSM, GPRS technology, or all type of RF controls. Okay, it is again not really complex technology to make any equipment or any industrial product, make it automation, okay, with IoT control. Okay, it's not really a very complex technology. With your small team, you can do the automation part of any IoT based system. And you know, every industrial automation, they have unique and specific requirement which cannot be catered by large companies. That is a segment where MSME can play a huge role of doing customized development specific to that particular industry. So please take advantage of Industry 4.0 automation and see what opportunities you can cater to. When it comes to IoT, it is across all vertical. Be it into homes, you have home security, you have home automation. Similarly, for the transport, cars are getting again connected. Health is a huge segment again for the IoT segment. Building and infrastructure, those are again a very large opportunities, and smart city project like smart parking, smart traffic management, smart garbage collection, all these are very, very large opportunities, and there is a room for MSME to play into that particular IoT opportunities. This is my last slide. You know, innovation has to be the key of any success of MSME. You should not be thinking that, okay, I will do this product because it is getting sold at a very large volume. Don't think of me too technology. You know, most of the time what we think that, okay, this product is getting sold at 100 rupees, I can manufacture at 50 rupees and I can easily sell at 70 rupees. Please note, such strategies doesn't work, because scaling and looking at a very high volumes, the guy who is selling today at 100 rupees can easily come down to 70 rupees over next by the time you develop the product. So you have to have a technology differentiator. Any innovation, any R&D you are planning, what is different I am doing than the existing technology? Can I add few more features? Can I go to the next generation technology? Always think of innovation when you are planning your new product or new technology. Time to market is a very important thing today. You may develop in 2 years' time, but by that time market opportunity will be gone. So you have to see how you can collaborate. Who has already developed some building blocks which you can leverage, which you can use, and you reduce your time to market. That is the most important thing. Getting a pilot customer commitment. See, most of the time MSMEs or startups, what I have seen, that they have an idea, they have a product concept, and then they just go on developing without really having a customer commitment. So please see that you have a customer commitment when you are developing any project, and use the latest technology platform which will make you techno-commercially most competitive. So this is the message I thought. In electronics, technology innovation is the key to success. So please look at the new technologies, new innovation, so that you will have an edge over your competition and you can be successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for briefing us on technology and innovation from the point of view of electronics industry, and also running through the transformation of industry from industry 1.0 to 4.0. Thank you very much. We move on to the next panelist, Mr. Mustafa Wajid. He is the MD and CEO of Meher Group. He began his entrepreneurial journey at the age of 16, founding Meher Capacitors in Bangalore. Current?
Already running short of time.
Yeah, okay.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. In the Vedic concept of life, there are multiple stages. There is a brahmacharya phase, there is a grahastya phase. I'm sure all of you are aware of it. The MSME also needs to understand first which stage it is in, because that will decide what do you want to innovate. And Let us take a simple example. One of the primary concerns of an MSME today is business stability. I want the business to be stable. I want it to grow at a reasonable rate. Therefore, what should I do to innovate, to maintain this achievement or to go towards this achievement? I have to find the technology toolkit suitable for that. For example, analysis of my customer expectations. Where is my customer going to go 3 years from now? What will he expect from me as an MSME? What should I innovate to ensure that I meet or exceed my customer expectations? If I am in that phase, my primary concern is stability. Therefore, my innovation must only be done to ensure that I can improve my stability. And to improve my stability, I need a toolkit. I'm sorry, I don't have slides. Okay. Now we come to the other type of MSME who wants to accelerate. Now, when I want to accelerate, my innovation may involve new customers, new products, new markets. The technology toolkit for this will be very different from the technology toolkit which was used in the stability format. Today, even financial aspects have become part of technology. You don't need to go to a public sector bank to raise working capital. That's also an innovation. So, if we want to accelerate as an MSME, we have to define a toolkit which is completely different. Some aspects will be common. So, let me call the stability toolkit as T1. The acceleration toolkit will become T2. Now, the toolkit T1 and T2 may have some common issues, but they will have very different issues. Now, there is an MSME which not only wants to be stable and accelerate, but I want to be disruptive. I am inspired by the startup movement and I want to create some idea I have got in my head. I want to do it. Now, for that, fortunately, our country's ecosystem is very suitable now. Because there, the toolkit will have to involve venture capital. It will have to involve a lot of innovation, not just on technology, but structuring, financing, go-to-market, etc., etc. So, if I want to do disruptive innovation as an MSME, I need a third toolkit, which is T3. I don't want to go into details of T1, T2, T3 because my friends on the panel have already explained different ingredients which can be placed in some of these toolkits, right? But there is an underlying foundational issue of MSMEs. A majority of them are either promoter driven or family owned. Now, what I have seen in my career is that you have a brilliant business, I have very good technology, I have the right skills, but I have management problems. Why? Because there are disputes within the management. This is a problem of family business or promoter-driven family businesses. Now, this is a foundational issue. If we don't address this properly as MSMEs, it can disturb all the three: growth, stability, acceleration and disruption. And we don't give enough importance to it. We do not make, see nowadays young people are making pre-nuptial agreements before getting married. Why don't we have clarity on management agreements within the shareholders? Otherwise, what happens is that after 10-15 years, all the good work of companies gets washed down. Just yesterday, I went to the Kamath Hotel in Unity building, and I was very impressed by a young man who was standing near the door and requesting customers to come, then finding out what they want to eat and all that. Now, he happens to be the third generation of the Kamath family. Now, at one time when I was young, when we were in college, Kamath, Dasuprakash, Woodlands were all very respected brands. Dasuprakash and Woodlands were even bigger actually. Where are they today? This problem is what I call sustainability problem. It's a foundational problem. If we don't design the MSME foundation to outlast our lifetime, then all the technology is of no use. So one has to take a step back, address the foundational issues, then decide whether I want to be focused on stability, do I want to be focused on acceleration, or do I want to be on disruption, or do I have enough bandwidth to do all the three, or some combination of the three. And once I have made that decision, then I will come to technology as a toolkit and define it very sharply with the help of experts, advisors, there are many people here, and then I will define a toolkit to suit me or to suit my business operation as an MSME, and then start applying it. And this is only 50% of the problem. The remaining 50% of the problem is how you execute technology. It's all very nice to say this technology, that technology, and so on. Execution, if not done properly, a famous English author, literature fellow, gentleman, I don't remember his name, he said the path to hell is paved with good intentions. So we can have all the good intentions we want, and we will go to hell if we don't execute it. So this is the fundamental challenge for MSMEs. As India moves to a double-digit GDP, the MSMEs had better get alert. If they don't get alert and address their foundational issues and this growth, acceleration and disruption matrix, I am afraid, just like many brands have disappeared over the last 20-30 years, we can also disappear as an individual company. This is a word of caution. I am not being pessimistic. I have seen in my career very big brands which I used to idolize which are not there today. They are absent or they have become very weak. So the primary challenge before the MSME sector is to address foundational issues, decide which road path you want to follow. You might remember Mahatma Gandhi's observation that speed is irrelevant if the direction is wrong. You can go very fast to nowhere. So you decide your direction, decide what innovation agenda you want to follow, and then apply the proper technology toolkit and execute it properly. This is required if you want to ensure longevity and success of the SME. Thank you very much. Ellarigu namaskara. If I have said something that offended somebody, please, I apologize.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I will just ask one question to all, a common question to all the panelists, and please express your views on this one particular question. My question would be, if we have to address the single most common leadership or operational gap for MSME to move towards digital transformation, what would it be? Shall we start from Tyagi, sir?
I think if we decide to do something, and like Mr. Mustafa said, that we have to identify the problem statement properly of the MSME, and what is that toolkit which we want to utilize for acceleration, and which area you want to accelerate. If we go to the detail and understand the functioning of his own setup and which part of that he want to accelerate and where from, he discussed with the, like API, he said, ask and partner with the people. I think any gap can be filled, and we should always look for the help from the outside if we want to. MSME is working in their own domain area, but the digitalization is not his domain area. He has to look for the help. He has to ask very systematically that which portion of his operation has to be digitalized and how it can increase my efficiency.
Right. Thank you, sir. So you're saying identify the problem clearly and ask help, consult, because there's plenty of knowledge, domain knowledge available outside. Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
I would say one is do an assessment, understand where is that gap.
Right.
Because we have Lot of people who are presenting the similar domain today around the globe. Let us do a gap analysis, fix it, plan it, get the collaboration, compete, execute, and have the doors open to extend it to the next level and bring in the young minds first.
Right. So you're saying tap the young generation who have a lot of talent, fill the gap through assessment, partnering, and identifying the right talent.
Exactly, because we are not competing inside the nation today. It's not the pan-India which is a competition for us. It's the globe which is a competition for us.
Right.
And when we are doing that, yes, of course, as you all know, digital space is somewhere where we are having every player.
Right.
And we being with the best minds in the world, I'm very sure when we start the best collaboration, planning, the best thing which we need to do is planning out and keeping in mind about the dedication and the timing part. Because always whenever it is India, you know that we say IST and they say it's Indian stretching time. So let us make it wrong.
Right, right. Got it, ma'am. Sir.
Yeah, if you ask for gap, I think definitely first is taking off from the strategy, assuming what Mustafa ji said. If your strategy is clear in terms of perpetuation of the business and what you want to do, so let's assume that that is right, then in terms of execution gap, there are two things I would say, and both are related to the culture. I think first is communication of your strategy down the line to the last person. I think having a good vision and mission and what you want to do is important, but does everybody see the same way? You know, the classical elephant kind of example. If you get that right, then I think a bigger alignment issue is solved. I mean, technology, everything will follow. Actually, this will happen if the second thing is done, which is a culture. And I emphasize the culture. I think one of the key things, if we want to improve our productivity and go to a China level in manufacturing, I think the culture of excellence and commitment is definitely not there. You know, we have this typical adjustmadi type culture, which is not going to work in a global supply chain, in a global value. So I think communication and culture would be my message.
Thank you, sir.
I think from my point of view, the biggest gap I see is about scaling, about thinking big or thinking to reach out to mass market. Okay, that is one of the big gap, because we restrict ourselves to certain set of customers, and we can't think of really going pan-India or global.
Yeah.
And scaling is the biggest gap I see today.
Thank you, sir. Wajid, sir.
Yeah, digital transformation you mentioned. That is a race with no finishing line. There is no end to that process.
Right.
That's the first realization that we should take in, because every other new technology that gets enabled on digital ecosystems makes us have to think. The only constant there is how do you reduce friction in your business processes, both inside your organization and with your customer.
Right.
So there is no such thing as zero friction. It will violate the law of physics. How do you minimize friction? That should be the key focus. And any process, friction analysis is important. How to mitigate and reduce that friction using digital technologies will drive the digital transformation. All other stuff around that is hype and jargon.
Right.
It has no value added to anybody.
Right.
A friction analysis within an organization is very important to identify the top priority for digital transformation. The user experience of your customer is again a very important point to ensure digital transformation. Young people do not have patience like we have in our generation.
Right.
Everything has to happen quickly and accurately.
Right.
So that friction reduction is what digital transformation is all about.
Thank you, sir. So, global outreach and reducing the friction were the last two takeaways. Thank you very much. We now come to the end of the session. Thank you for the distinguished panelists for offering not just insights, but actionable wisdom today. The journey from manual to smart may be daunting, but as today's speakers have shown us, with the right support systems, partnerships, and willingness to learn, every MSME has the potential to thrive in this new digital area. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Ram Seshu to do the honors and our
Mr.
President of
Rajgopal.
CASIA, Mr. Rajgopal, to hand over the mementos, please. The panelists are available off the stage. Anybody having questions may please meet them and seek answers to it. Thank you.
Right.
Sir.
And more innovative for MSME financing. Introducing the automated